Let's go get the Pagani Huayra. We're gonna. Oh man, this really is Top Gear themed here. It's the Pagani Huayra, which, if any of you guys are fans of Top Gear like I am, they had a lot of fun with trying to pronounce that. And the car restriction is reasonably priced cars, which is very much a reference to the star in a reasonably priced car um, from Top Gear. So reasonably priced cars at C600. So let's go into our playlist here, or into our garage. Let's see if we already have a reasonably priced car at a that we can use. I always do this first. I always go into my garage first, and now wait a minute. What qualifies as a reasonably priced car? See, this is bothering me because before, with those challenges, you could easily just filter it down to a car type category. For this week's challenges, it's much more vague. I don't know what defines a reasonably priced car. View eligible cars. There we go. Okay. View eligible cars. Okay. Can I filter by owned? There we go. All right. So, my owned reasonably priced cars that will work for this challenge, and remember, we're going for a C600, so I actually probably want to go with something that's a little bit lower than a C600 and try to tune it up. So what I have the Focus RS 600 Turbo, the Escort RS Turbo, the MX-5, the Mazda Speed MX-5, Pulsar GTI R, the Celica GT4, and the ST205, and the Volkswagen Corrado VR6. That is a rear-wheel drive car. The Celicas are all-wheel drive. The Pulsar's an all-wheel drive. Now, one other thing with this challenge here. Let me take a look at this. So, reasonably priced cars. That is dirt, I believe. So we're going to want one of those all-wheel drive options. So I just learned something, though, by the way, that you can just hit start and it will show you the different cars. So being attentive to the UI can definitely help you out in terms of figuring out how to do these challenges. So we want an all-wheel drive car. I'm going to go with the Celica, and I'm actually going to take the GT4 RC ST185. It's got a little bit more headroom to tune. So that's what we're going to use for this. So I'm going to go to the garage. I wish that I could just jump to it from the eligible cars thing, but I can't. So I'm going to get into this car here. I'm going to tune it right up to the top of C600, and then we're going to go tackle that series, and hopefully we can win. Let's explode it out. Look at that. Cool. Okay. Upgrades and tuning. Custom upgrade. Engine swap. Probably not going to want to do this, although actually that might be good. Just go straight up to the 2.6 liter twin turbo i6. Gives us a little more power right there. Drivetrain, I don't want to go rear-wheel drive. I want to leave it all-wheel drive because this is going to be a dirt event, I think. And because it's going to be a dirt event, I want the... Ooh, yeah, let's go with the off-road tires. That really doesn't give up much in terms of handling. Gives us better for off-road, and it gives us a lot more headroom, but it's actually taking us way up over C-spec. Let's see, so let's do that, and then let's go back, and with our engine, let's see if we can... yeah. See, this is the problem when you're picking a car, is you really want to pick something that has the right amount of headroom to tune properly. So we are stuck, I believe... Well, maybe we can do street tires. So I think we can do street tires on this and get away with that if we leave in the... Nope, we're still over on the engine. Sometimes you can swap out the... Oh my gosh, look at that. That looks kind of cool. Yeah, let's just put the rally headlights on there. Sometimes putting... There we go. See? Look at that. Put the big honking rear wing on the on the back of it, and it actually lowers your performance spec back down. So there we go. Let's see if we can... Oh, it's not changing anything. Let's see what the different hood options... All the hoods are going to put us over because they're dropping our weight down. We're like right at the top of C600 right now. Is there mud flaps? Yeah, we want mud flaps. We're going to be in the mud. Let's put mud flaps on the car. Why not? Okay, so this may not be the best way to go for C600 spec car, because we might be really hurting for the fact that we don't have the... we can push out the rear tires a little bit wider. Oh, there we go. That's actually going to buy us a little bit more headroom. Let's actually go with some heavier rims, because that might buy us a little bit extra and give us the ability to get some suspension or something like that. So let's get some... Those OZ rims look cool. Generally speaking, I don't like... I like to go as light as possible with the rims, since that is unsprung weight. But just for this challenge, might actually want to go a little bit heavier just so that I can spend that performance index on something else. Although I could be really flawed in that thinking as well. This look kind of rad. Let's go do that. So we got street tire compound. We've made our rear wheels bigger. We've added the wing. We've got a very little bit of extra performance index to put into, let's see, one clutch. I do want the sport transmission because I want that final drive tuning. I'm going to wait on the drive line. Let's get a rally diff in there. Springs and dampers. Rally springs and dampers. Let's see. Not going to do the weight reduction. We've got like one more performance index point to spend, and I'm trying to decide where to spend it. Can we get a little bit more power? Probably not. Oh, this is one thing that's always been good as well. as you go through the different exhausts, you can hear the difference. So, like, here's the race exhaust, and there's the stock. Unfortunately, can't do that, but yeah, you can rev the engine when you're in show mode, and you'll actually hear the difference on the different upgrade options. If there's an audio difference, you can hear it in the add audio menu. So let's go ahead and put the street clutch on there. Having that quicker shift timing is nice and helps. So let's go ahead and install the setup. We're going to make our car look cool, and then we're going to go run this. What is the difference between Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport? So Forza Motorsport is designed to be more towards the sim side of things. It's a bit more hardcore in that regard. It's still arcadey in comparison to a game like it's more in the simcade spec. It's not as hardcore of a simulation as something like iRacing or R-Factor, but it's also not as arcadey as Forza Horizon 5. Forza Motorsport is more in, trying to be a direct competitor to Gran Turismo, whereas Forza Horizon is trying to be more of a competitor to something like Burnout Paradise or one of the Need for Speed games. It's really geared more towards a casual audience and more towards having fun rather than being a hardcore simulation, although they do have the simulator, the same like simulator physics underpinning it. It's just that things have been, some of the simulation elements have been softened a little bit, and it's also in an open world setting, so it's designed to be a little bit more playful and a little bit fun rather than just, a hardcore racing game, which is what Forza Motorsport is more designed to be. So let's go in and do some custom tuning real quick. I don't tend to do much with this, but I am going to lower the tire pressures down so that we have a little bit more grip, go a little bit higher on the rears. We do have final drive tuning, and I'm just going to shorten that up a little bit. The alignment, we're going to go, let's go -1 on front camber, and -1 on rear camber, and we're going to toe out just slightly for a little bit extra stability. Springs, I'm going to soften the fronts all the way down, and I'm going to stiffen the rears a little bit because I really want a little bit of rear end play. Damping, same thing, we're going to bring those down like that. Aero brake differential, yeah, all that looks good. Go into the setup manager. We're just going to apply it for right now. I will share it at the end if I'm able to win the challenge. I'm not going to share it if I'm not able to win the challenge with the car as it is currently, because I don't know if it's good enough yet. I always like to do a simple paint scheme, so go in here. I've been a real fan of doing matte paint schemes for my rally cars. So that doesn't look that great. What do we think about like maybe a matte blue for the Celica? Like a dark blue. That looks kind of rad. And for the rims, I think that maybe matching body color would look good. So kind of the same kind of a matte dark blue look. I didn't match them exactly, but There we go. Save that, and now we are finally ready to go ahead and try to tackle this challenge. So, my festival playlist. Season Championship, the real deal. We've got our little Celica. We're tuned up. I may not have picked the right car for this because it's quite possible that I'm really going to be missing the fact that I don't have either rally or off-road tires. I just wasn't able to fit that into the performance index headroom that this car had. That's why it's always good to start tuning your car with something a good bit below the performance index of what your target is, so that you really have the proper headroom to be able to get the right customizations that you want for your car. However, I was able to fit in the street tires, which are better than the stocks. We have an all-wheel drive car, which will be good for that as well. I'm worried that maybe we're still a little bit too tight on handling, but we'll see how it actually works when it gets off-road. And I think I was able to... I forget if I was able to slide in that engine swap that I wanted or not. That's one other thing that I'm maybe a little bit worried about, is I'm not entirely sure that I made the right call on going for those street tires over going for more power. A lot of times when you're doing, you know, C and D spec,
400 yards.
More power is far more important than any grip upgrades or handling upgrades, because you know, those cars tend to be first and foremost underpowered. That's not always the case, but typically on those lower end cars, power is the thing that they're lacking the most. It obviously depends on the car, but on something like a Celica, it's pretty lightweight, it has pretty good handling for its class outright, so I may have gone the wrong direction in terms of going for tires instead of going for some more power.
Turn left.
Working with the tires that I had. But we will see. That's part of the fun with these games, is the exploration.
Turn left.
So we're just driving over to the event. I don't actually need to drive to it. I'm just doing it.
Recalculating route.
I do have the house that opens up the quick travel to everywhere, and I'll probably be using that for some later challenges. I have smashed several of the fast travel boards,
200
so
yards.
my fast travel is down to under 5,000 credits. And here we go.
You have arrived at your destination.
The real deal Mangrove Scramble in reasonably priced cars. 1, 2, 3 events on the map. We've got our Celica that's already tuned out and spec'd out for it. Let's go see if we can beat this challenge, guys. So the difficulty settings on this, it puts you against the highly skilled drivatars for these, which are not the hardest, but they're still pretty good and challenging. They put up a good challenge. You got to be on your game. Yeah, see, look at this. They're driving away from me a little bit. This is what I was worried about. They may not have the right setup for this car. I may want to go back and give it more power and just run with the stock tires, or pick a different car entirely that I can add power to and hit the street, get the street rally tires. In the corners, however, those street tires are paying off. We've got a lot of sections of this track that are just full speed flat out. We're not anywhere near the grip level. I do leave the braking assist lines on, just because, again, the spirit of Forza being a little bit more casual, Horizon 5 being a little bit more casual. I'm playing this for fun. I'm not trying to get a hardcore simulator experience out of this. If I want that, I'll play iRacing. So, you know, having the braking line indicator just makes it a less frustrating experience for me, a more enjoyable experience as a result. Again, no judgment to anyone on how they want to set up their difficulty settings and get the most out of their Forza experience. This is supposed to be fun, so whatever settings make it the most fun for you are what you should be playing with. I really wish I had gotten a race transmission for it. There's too much of a gap between second and third in the gearing of this car. I may just tighten up the final drive though, and that'll fix it. I'm not getting anywhere close to the top end of the gearing, so I can just pull the final drive gear back actually, and that should fix my gear gap problem. So the setup is definitely not where I want in terms of gearing for this challenge. Handling seems to be about right. I could probably go a little bit looser on handling. Top three are running away though, so maybe if I get the gearing right, that'll fix that. I'm still going to try to see if I can catch them in this race, but I'm just continuing to be worried that I went the wrong way with going for those street tires as opposed to going for just more raw power. Although I can go into the red further than I have been doing. I'm short shifting a little bit too much, it looks like. Sloppy driving, running into walls. There we go. That corner better than I did last lap. There's just too much of a gap between second and third right now. I'm definitely going to tune the final drive and give myself some more acceleration. Had a better lap. I did close on them a little bit, but I'm not close enough yet. Let's see if I can use the superior handling that I theoretically have over them to run down this gap and make a challenge and hopefully salvage this race as a win, despite having a nom-nom tune. Not looking great right now though. They're just not close enough. Well there. Having that rally suspension certainly helped with the ride height. Made it into third. Almost there. Oh, that was a nice move there, sliding to the outside. We're going to use the bumper a little bit. I think we're going to get him. We're going to get this first win here, guys. Or maybe not. Nope. Yeah, just short. So we could go... I'm actually going to retry this race because I really want to try it with the better gearing. I think that will help. But I'm also thinking that my tune is off. So I just want to try it and see if I can fix my problems by taking the final drive. So where is it? Gearing. We're gonna go much more towards acceleration. We're never getting out of fourth gear. So we're gonna go with a 492 final drive. See if that tightens things up a little bit. Drive a little bit better. We should be able to get first out of this challenge, no problem. We know the course now. Already a better launch. Yeah, where my car really has the advantages in those corners. I'm going to try to drive as clean as I can with making these passes and not do stuff like that. But it's also an arcade racer, and I feel like with Forza Horizon in particular, you know, it's just, especially when you're driving against the AI, it's a little bit of a win at all costs mentality. You don't have to be overly concerned about the races of the drivatars that you're up against, because they're not real people. But not hitting things looks better for the gameplay video and feels more satisfying. So at the end of lap 1, we're in fourth just like we were in the previous race, but much closer to the top 3 than we were on our previous attempt. And I'm feeling a lot better about that second to third gap. We're up into fifth as well, so it means that I think we've got that gearing adjustment is getting us better set for this particular track, at least, and for this challenge. Still wanting more power though, so I may scrap those street tires entirely and just go with the stock tires, get that engine swap. I feel like with that we can probably just drive right past these guys on the straights and make this a much easier challenge. Racing. Little bump through there. Those little bumps, by the way, won't undo your clean racing thing. Little bumps and side swipes. Clean racing is as long as you're not doing anything that breaks your combo, you're fine. And little bits of contact will not break your combo. Alright, so we're in second as we enter the final lap here. Better than we were on our previous attempt. Wrong line from that corner every time. Just turn it in too early. Trying to close in on him through here. Oh, yeah. Ran way too wide in that corner. But we're right on his bumper. And we do get through that puddle better than him, I think, because of the rally suspension, we've got a little bit better ground clearance, able to position ourselves on the inside, make the pass for the lead, and we should be able to hold that through the rest of the race. Now, you don't have to win all 3 races for these championship series. You just have to do well enough that you end up with the most points at the end of 3 races to complete the challenge. Prize at the end of this again, 5 seasonal points, and the Pagani Huayra. Right, like Earnhardt Sr. once said, the winner isn't the one with the fastest car, it's the one who refuses to lose. So 20 points for first place. We are going to continue this championship. My little victory dance there. All right. We're going to level up. Should get another wheel spin. Back with the Beard, I haven't tried this yet. Not really done the arcadey stuff other than those old Need for Speed games. Yeah, man. I feel like this, yeah, this is a fun break. Again, it's sort of what your flavor is. This really hits the right note for me in terms of these more, you know, in terms of an arcadey style game. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like they've hit a good note. The cars still feel good in the way that they drive. It's just that the overall style of the game is a little bit more casual as opposed to being super hardcore on the difficulty level. So we're going to fast travel to the next location here and continue our series. But yeah, I've really been enjoying Forza Horizon 5, for sure. Got a good launch time. This car launches really easy, you just want to be on the power. There's no worrying about spinning the tires. This thing's got probably too much grip, honestly, for the engine. Inside. And bouncing off the wall. But we recovered nicely. It's 7th right now. We're going to have to make some moves to cut through this field. Section. Went down into first gear there, shouldn't have done that, needed to be second gear for that corner. And we used up our competition a little bit to get past, but through. You want to make sure you're always at least clipping those checkpoints. If you miss a checkpoint, the game will send you back, and that'll be your race pretty well. Sometimes if you have a really dominant car, you can still recover from a missed checkpoint, but it's a stiff penalty. As it should be. Gotta stay within the track limits. So 5th at the end of lap 1, but, you know, within contact here. We just need to make sure that we're hitting our corners cleanly and maximizing those grip sections, since that's where our current tune is designed to really shine. Need to stop hitting the wall and stuff like that, just overdriving that corner. Yep, got a good exit there. We should have this guy set up for an overtake. There we go. Top three right in front of us. They're running into each other, so I feel a little bit less bad about using the bumper against them. Actually, we're flipping those checkpoints. That one in particular is really easy to miss with the way that the track kind of lulls you into a false sense of security there. Horse does. You can see this guy in front of us, he seems to have a little bit better straight line speed, but we are definitely better through the corners. And we are through into first. So we should be able to just drive away at this point. They do have some AI rubber banding, but it's not terrible, and especially on the harder AI difficulty settings, if you can get out in front of them, if you're able to easily work your way through the field, you can often run away. It's not gonna rubber band the way that Need for Speed does. Still have to make sure that I'm hitting my marks to the corners. Those checkpoints, let's jump here. This section of the track's really fun. Just got that downhill flow, S corners, feels really nice. Yeah, through this handling section we are putting a little bit of a gap on our competition. As expected, he stayed with us through the speed sections, but looking on the mini-map, it looks like we've got a bit of a gap in as we give a look back there. We have. There's the race. Race 2 complete. Yes, definitely a little less stress than iRacing. A nice break, especially after the trials and tribulations we had this past Monday. It's very stressful. So this is something that can happen given that this is a season. We had a different second place finisher in the second one, so we're now 12 points ahead, which means that we don't need to win. We don't even need to get second in the next race, and we should be in really good shape to close out this series here. Let's see. So in order to make this easier to find, we can just search for the seasonal events. There is our uncompleted one. Anything that's part of the series that you're in will show with a white background and red front, as opposed to a red background and white front for ones that you're that are not the currently active series. So we'll fast travel to that, and we have some snow.
Hey,
For
the
the first time I've
250
seen
GTO's all cleaned up. Come see it in the auto
Oh.
show.
We got the 250 GTO completed and unlocked, so all my barn finds are complete now. Going through these accolades and make sure that Always a good idea to check in the accolades and just make sure that there isn't an unlock that you missed. There's also car mastery here.
We need to have a talk.
Unlocks. All right. Last event for this series. Just leveled up, so we're going to have a wheel spin. So for the other courses, I was lamenting not having enough power, that I went with the tires over the power upgrade. I think for this one, I'm going to like that I have the tires. This seems to be a much more twisty course. So I'm sure that there could be a more optimal tune that could be done for this, you know, where it would just basically put the race on easy mode. I'm sure that I haven't selected the most optimal car, and I'm not going to be selecting the most optimal cars and getting the most optimal tunes. I'm going to be having fun with this, selecting a car that I think is fun to do the challenge in, and you know, more so to showing how to do it. I will be sharing out the tune that I do, and I hope that you know, I show you guys how to go through it, and I hope that helps. But, you know, that there are other folks in the Horizon 5 community who are going to be putting together what the absolute most optimal tune for each challenges, I'm sure. I'm just aiming for good enough to beat the challenge, something that's capable to do it. So if you're struggling to do it, I'm giving you something that can do it, not necessarily the best thing to beat the challenge with. Although this is looking pretty solid for this leg of the challenge for sure. So, as I was saying, I was lamenting that I had gone with tires over power in the other two. Oh, I missed that. Barely got that checkpoint. Man, I barely clipped that gate. That was really close to missing it entirely. Yeah, I was lamenting that I went for tires over a better engine in some of the other challenges. This one, I'm glad I've got the tires. This is a much twistier circuit. It's all off-road, so yeah, the better tires for this are really paying off. It's making this a much easier race. Should be starting the final lap right here. Following along. One thing that I forgot to do that can be a good idea in these games, we're going to do it right around here, is when you're in a race, go ahead and get a photo of the field. Because there are accolades and achievements for photographing all the cars in the game. So you can do it right when you're on grid, but also at any point in the race, you know, assuming it's an offline race against AI as opposed to an online race versus people. You can go in there and snap a couple quick photos and just get photos of, or, photographs of all the cars in the field against you. So do that real quick. Get those photos. Now it did wind us forward a little bit, so doing it in that portion of the race is not the best idea. Would have been really silly if I had lost the lead there, but we didn't. And we're going to wind through these twisty bits. This is a really fun track, actually. And we're going to come home with the finish here. Oh! Barely got that win. We were really getting pushed at the end there. This is another thing to point out, is that when you're in these races, the drivatars can sort of nudge you in the right direction and indicate to you which car might be a good one to switch to if you're having trouble with the challenge. So I did all right in my 92 Celica, but you can see that Starion ESIR was really competitive and actually ran a better best lap than I did. So that might be one to get if you're having trouble with this challenge. Get that Starion, put it at a C600 spec. Might be a good way to do this challenge if you're having trouble. That Ford Escort RS was also a pretty good car. And I think the Eclipse GSX, and that's only at a C95, so you can probably even make that even a little bit better. C95, that's enough headroom that you can get an engine upgrade in there and make it a C600. But 60 points.
Hey,
we
do some
won
wins for the
through
rest of my dirt racers,
the
eh?
whole season.
Just kidding. You're my favourite. Get out there and show them what you've got.
We have unlocked the Pagani Huayra. And we got 5 seasonal points. Well, Celica did all right. So, let's go to cars. Actually going to go to Tune Car here. Setup Manager. We're going to save this setup as... Let's see, go to the festival playlist. What was this festival called? The Real Deal. So we are going to save the setup as The Real Deal. Okay. Best for handling. And we're going to call it a circuit setup. So share that. Specified something that was blocked in the language filter. What? Okay. I am very confused right now. Save setup. Alright. Okay. We'll just save it as winter seasonal. I need to save it as something other than, so let's try saving it as winter challenge. Circuit, best for handling, or let's just try good for handling, and share. Okay, that worked. So, I don't know where those setup codes go, but yeah, anyway, so that can be found. And if someone else uses your tune, you'll get a little credit reward for it for each time it gets used. I've had that happen once so far. 35,000 credits. Inching closer to that 5 million. There's the Pagani Huayra. Collected that. So yeah, let's go check that out. I'm going to step away for a second real quick. But I'm going to jump to Pagani and look at that. I've got the I already had the Huayra Forza Edition unlocked, but there is my Huayra.